Canada, a land of breathtaking mountains, endless forests, and opportunity. A country so vast, yet home to fewer people than California. For decades, Canada has been a beacon for skilled migrants, engineers, doctors, students, dreamers, all seeking a better life under the maple leaf. But behind this open-door image lies a quiet crisis. Every year, hundreds of thousands arrive, chasing dreams of success and stability. Yet the more people come, the harder life becomes for everyone already here. Rising rents, scarce housing, soaring debt, and a question that no one dares to ask aloud. Has Canada brought in more people than it can handle? Economists now whisper about something unsettling, a population trap, a scenario where Canada can't stop immigration, but also can't afford to continue it. This is the story of how one of the world's most admired nations may have built its own economic paradox, one visa at a time. The promise of open doors. For decades, Canada has prided itself on being a global leader in immigration, a place where talent is rewarded, and opportunity feels boundless. Skilled migrants arrive with degrees, determination, and dreams, and in return, they fuel a nation's growth. Immigration became more than a policy. It became a philosophy. The idea was simple: bring in young, skilled workers to fill shortages, keep the economy growing, and support an aging population. And for a while, it worked beautifully. Universities flourished with international students. Businesses filled critical roles in tech, healthcare, and construction. Even the housing market benefited from new demand. But as numbers soared, the foundation began to shake. More people meant more pressure on housing, healthcare, and wages. The government promised prosperity through population, but prosperity couldn't keep up. By 2024, nearly 500,000 new people were entering Canada every year. For a country of only 38 million, that's a massive shockwave. And as each year passed, the dream began to clash with reality, revealing a deeper truth: growth without balance can become a burden. The cost of a crowded dream. At first, the signs were subtle. Apartments became harder to find, students doubled up in tiny rooms, and affordable housing became a phrase that made Canadians laugh. Bitterly, cities like Toronto and Vancouver turned into pressure cookers of demand. Prices soared far beyond the reach of average families, and even skilled migrants, once symbols of hope, found themselves priced out of the very dream they'd chased. Every new arrival meant more pressure on already stretched systems. Healthcare wait times grew, wages stagnated, and infrastructure lagged behind. Canada's open arms were full, but its hands were tied. Economists began to sound alarms. The supply of homes, jobs, and opportunities wasn't keeping pace with the population surge. Meanwhile, many skilled workers were leaving, heading south to the US for better pay and lower taxes. So Canada faced an impossible choice: keep the borders open and risk making life harder for everyone, or slow immigration and watch the economy stumble. A paradox born from good intentions and a ticking clock beneath the polite silence. The productivity problem. Paul Krugman once said, "Productivity isn't everything, but in the long run, it's almost everything." And here lies Canada's deepest wound. More people does not always mean more output. If those people lack tools, opportunities, or investment, productivity stagnates. In comparison to its southern neighbor, Canada struggles. American companies enjoy deeper investments, global dominance, and access to vast capital. Canadian businesses, smaller and more cautious, lag behind. So as the workforce grew, output per person barely moved. More workers, same pie, just thinner slices. Worse still, some newcomers arrived through student visas, not to study, but to work. A wave of diploma mills emerged, empty buildings masquerading as colleges, granting visas in exchange for tuition. Thousands came chasing education, and ended up delivering food or driving cabs. It wasn't their fault. They followed the promise, but the system turned ambition into exploitation. Canada's productivity problem wasn't just economic, and it was morale. A nation that prided itself on opportunity was quietly failing to provide it. When growth becomes a trap, here's the cruel irony: Canada can't stop immigration, but it can't afford to keep it going either. If the country closes its doors, it risks losing essential workers, nurses, builders, engineers. But if it keeps bringing in 500,000 people each year, it deepens the housing crisis, inflates debt, and strains every public service. Economists call this the population trap. Too many people chasing too few opportunities, too few solutions to fix both sides at once. Homeowners cling to sky-high property values, governments hesitate to rezone land or loosen construction rules. And so, the cycle continues. Prices rise, supply lags, resentment grows. The very system that once lifted Canada up now threatens to pull it down. But amidst the chaos lies a lesson every advanced economy must learn. Growth is not infinite, and numbers on a spreadsheet don't tell the story of lives on the ground. The road ahead. Canada's population puzzle isn't unsolvable, but it demands courage. To break free from the trap, Canada must build faster, smarter, and fairer. It must invest in homes, technology, and industries that can sustain a growing people. It must welcome talent, but with purpose, not panic. Policies must balance compassion with practicality. Immigration should fill real gaps, not just boost short-term statistics, and education needs reform, replacing fake colleges with genuine opportunity. If done right, Canada could become the model for managing migration, not the warning. But if it fails, the cracks will deepen, and the dream of a better life will turn into another global cautionary tale. For now, the world watches closely, because Canada's story isn't just about borders or visas. It's about balance, about knowing when to grow and when to pause. And as the snow falls over empty streets and overcrowded apartments alike, one truth remains clear. A nation's strength isn't measured by how many people it lets in, but by how well it helps them thrive once they arrive.